Welcome to another episode of I Speak African. I'm your host Yanu, and I want to wish everyone a happy New Year's, and also want to thank everyone who has been listening to my channel and subscribing. I want to thank all my viewers or listeners who have been showing me, just that care and affection. Thank you. Being a YouTube or a growing YouTube channel is very difficult. I didn't know how difficult it was when I first started, but it's very difficult. It's not easy. But I just want to thank everyone for listening. So, in today's episode, I want to talk about what's going on between Drake and LeBron James and Skip Bayless. Now, first, I'm going to talk about Skip Bayless. I think that LeBron and Drake is, I found it far more interesting and entertaining, so I'm going to talk about that later. So, for those who don't know who Skip Bayless is a 74-year-old white man who is a sports analyst. He was on a show with Shannon Sharp called Undisputed, and then him and Shannon Sharp had some kind of falling out. To this day, I don't really know what caused it, but they parted ways, and now that show just ended last year. So what's going on with Skip Bayless is that Skip Bayless offered a hairstylist by the name of what's her name? Her name is Nushin Faraji. He offered her or allegedly offered her $1.5 million to have sex with him. So Faraji's attorneys are seeking undisclosed amount from Skip. Now the lawsuit is 42 pages, and it alleges that she has been enduring sexual harassment, um, racism, ableism for over 10 years, and a very hostile work environment where executives are allowed to physically and verbally abuse other workers with impunity. Now, Faraji claims that when she reported this to HR, she was retaliated against. The lawsuit also involves the vice president of Fox Sports, Charlie Dixon, because he also sexually harassed Faraji. Now, during a birthday party of a Joy Taylor, who is also a female sports analyst on Fox Sports, um, Faraji went to Taylor and was like, "Hey, this guy Charlie Dixon, the vice president, who they both know." She was like, he's making unwanted advancements towards me." And what Joy Taylor told her was that you should be grateful that you even have this job because I told Dixon to give it to you. And if you mess this up, he could fire both of us. You know, the lawsuit also states that Joy Taylor was in a relationship with both Charlie Dixon and Emmanuel Ocho. So if you guys don't know who Emmanuel Ocho is, I spoke about him, I think, in my second episode about how he said some very um, ignorant and disparaging remarks towards Black Americans and how Black Americans had it easy because they didn't have to come to America and they were already hearing the fact that he's of Igbo descent. His people didn't have to deal with the troubles of slavery and all this. It's just a lot of stupid stuff he said. But anyway, so now, this is when it gets even crazier. So Skip wanted to have, as I had already, divulged, that he wanted to have sex with Faraji. So what he would do is he made it so that she would cut his hair once a week, so he could have a reason to see her. And when she would come to cut his hair, he would like touch up on her and be a perv. And the lawsuit states that he would give her lingering hugs and press his body against hers, pressing up on her boobs. He would even go as far as giving her kisses on the cheek, which made her feel very uncomfortable. She states that one day, when he was being nasty to her, in order to, get him to back off, she was like, "I'm going to have a biopsy to determine if I have cancer." And, that didn't deter Skip from being a perv. He even began to kiss her on her hands, and that's when he offered her the $1.5 million to have sex with her. And she was like, "You have a wife, Skip." And he was like, "So what? Like, your father has four wives. Why can't I have you?" Making a stupid joke about Islam, stating that because she is Muslim and her father is Muslim, and in Islam, a man can marry more than one wife. That means that his wife does not matter. So he's pretty much saying, like, the sanctity of my marriage does not matter because your father allegedly has four wives, which there's no evidence supporting that her father has four wives. Um, so, I'm not surprised that this is happening. This has been happening forever in sports, entertainment, Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, it's been happening. But my question is, whatever happened to rich men just getting hired in escorts? Why is it that you would risk your job? Like now, Skip, his show Undisputed is over, or whatever show he had on Fox, the Fox network, it's over. It ended. Um, right before the new year, and now it's over because he like risked everything for sex, like with this one woman, and it's like, why couldn't you just hire somebody? Like, if you wanted sex that bad, why don't you just hire somebody to have sex with? Like, people still do. They still hire high-end escorts, or you could have gotten like a sugar baby or whatever. Why? And it's like you're 74, you're 4 years old. You should be retired. Like, what are you doing at 74 years old that you want to have sex? I didn't even know old people could have sex. How can you have sex at like? Think about that. 74 years old. That's like a great grandfather. If you really think about it, like you could easily have had you know, your kids at like 20 something years old, boom, then, you're now 74, they're now in their, early 50s or whatever, and then they have kids, you know. Wait, that would be a grandfather. But yeah, well, like I said, a grandfather. But it's like you're at grandfather age, go do some grandfather stuff. Like go fishing, go and plus you're not just everyday like old person. You're a multi-millionaire old person. So go do old people rich stuff. Like go, I don't know, go on a yacht or something, or go on a cruise around the world or something. Like do something. Like why is it that old people are still trying to be young? Like be satisfied with being old. I never got that. Like why? Like I always see old people trying to dress like young people. I'm thinking, what y'all doing? Y'all are old people, like old. Just be old, you know? I don't dress like an old person. Because I'm not old. But when I get old, I will dress like an old person. I will be fine with being old. There's nothing wrong with, aging. Aging is a natural part of life. But now on to Drake and LeBron. Now, I heard about this earlier this morning, and I was like, why does this sound like uh breakup? It's very strange. It sounds like LeBron and Drake were dating, and uh LeBron cheated on Drake, and Drake got upset, and he's decided to come up with a freestyle. So for you guys who aren't up to date, Drake came up with the freestyle called "Fighting Irish." Now, at first, I didn't know what it was reference to. I know the Fighting Irish is Notre Dame's um, mascot, but then after doing some research, I realized I remembered that when LeBron was playing basketball in high school, his team was the Irish, so the Fighting Irish. Um, so, like I was saying, it sounds like a scornful woman airing out her grievances about her man that cheated on her. Now, I don't know how this all happened, but I can speculate based off of some, just doing some basic research. So it turned out that LeBron James's birthday was just last month on the 30th of December, and um, on 30th of December he was rapping to a Kendrick Lamar song, and Kendrick Lamar and Drake still have their beef going on, and he was rapping to the Kendrick Lamar song on his 40th birthday, which was Man at the Garden. And now Drake came up with this Fighting Irish song Um, but not only that, um, this issue between Drake and LeBron has now brought up another, um, or a long-standing rumor of LeBron's alleged affair with a woman by the name of Yes Jules. I didn't know who she was until I started doing research on this. I don't, but Yes Jules is like a some kind of reporter or personality or something. I don't know. I don't even know what she is. But so this and she's from Miami, and so this alleged affair goes back to when LeBron was playing for the Miami Heat back in 2014, and they were saying that Yes Jules and him had a relationship. Now, Yes Jules came out and said that she never had a relationship with LeBron. In fact, she respects LeBron's wife way too much, Savannah, to ever have an affair with LeBron James. So now this whole thing with Drake seems like to me, based off of what I've noticed about his, you know, his behavior, that he seems like he's the kind of person who's always wanted to, make friends, and making friends has always become it's been quite difficult for him. And then when he makes them, he really, really like appreciates and loves them. And if they don't love him back, then he just goes, you know, to 100 and decides he's gonna just go scorch earth and do whatever he wants, because that's what this seems like. He even has a tattoo. Like, if you go listen to the song, and this is not me trying to publicize Drake's freestyle or advertise for it. But I'm just saying, like, if you want to know and decipher the lyrics and everything, go listen to the song. I listened to some of the song, and it's like talking about how he got a tattoo of LeBron James on his arm. I'm thinking, who told you to do that? Why'd you go and get LeBron James tattooed on your arm? And why are you getting like why are you so like fascinated and just smitten by these athletes? Like, it's very weird. It's very clingy, and you know. But this is why it's crucial to make sure that you make trustworthy friends. Because when you make trustworthy friends, then if you guys have some kind of a falling out, then you can be more or less assured that nothing crazy is gonna happen. Or yeah, like nothing's crazy is gonna happen. But it's like Drake. And like, if you see Drake, he's always like trying to hang out with rappers, and that's the weird thing. It's like, if you look at basketball and football from the '90s, rappers wanted to be basketball players and football players, and basketball players and football players wanted to be rappers, which was very weird. Like, for example, Shaq. Shaq has an album. Kobe Bryant has an album. All these other athletes are trying to rap, whereas all these rappers want to play basketball. I'm just thinking, just stick to what you're good at. Stay in your lane, stick to what you're good at. Um, you know, as more news breaks out between Drake and LeBron, I'll report it. Like I said, this is a very it's very funny, but it's also very weird. But also I think it's very like I said, it's very indicative of Drake's behavior, because you're now LeBron James has a wife and has kids, and you're now trying to mess up his life and the life of his family because you're mad at him that he was singing or rapping a Kendrick Lamar song. So what? Who cares? Ignore it. You know. But now on some lighter news that's not, you know, well, this can be considered controversial depending on what your take is. But it was revealed that the MCU is casting somebody new for the role of T'Challa, the Black Panther. Now, for one, I'm looking forward to having T'Challa back in the MCU. I was a very huge fan of the character. I read the comics. I was always very huge fan, but I'm also a very huge fan, and I actually loved Chadwick Boseman, or the late Chadwick Boseman, and his passing, was very hard on me. So I do think it's very good that they are bringing back the character of T'Challa, because if you look at how Black Panther 1 did versus how Black Panther 2 did, you can tell that the fact that everyone is more familiar with the character of T'Challa, who was the original Panther for the 90s and everything, even though his father was a Black Panther, and later on in the comics, his sister takes the role of the Black Panther, but he's still the most well-known Black Panther, just as like Peter Parker's the most well-known Spider-Man, and who else, and you know Logan, or Wolverine's the most he's the most well-known Wolverine, even though his daughter takes over, and then the other Wolverines are just like for Venom, Eddie Brock is the most well-known, but you have some other Venoms. So, um, yeah, so I think that's really good news. Now, when it comes to casting the role of now, from what this is all alleged, it's not, there's no, 100% verification. They're saying that the MCU actually found a person, they offered him the job, but he declined and was like, um, I think the role would be too big, and the not well, not the role, but I think it would be, filling such big shoes that the late Chadwick Boseman, you know, um, you know, played would be too, maybe it would maybe mess up his career a little bit. Now, I don't know who that alleged person was, but I think that do find when they are looking for or find one, I think as of right now, I can only think of three characters that could potentially play T'Challa, aka Black Panther, and that is John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son, and I think that would be a good fit because like Denzel Washington's going to be in the third movie. So if they're going to go that route, like if you think about it, Denzel Washington could actually play T'Chaka, who's T'Challa's father, and because it's going to be the whole multiverse, so it could just be a different. It could be a different, universe where that Black Panther and that Black Panther's father come to this universe, to the main MCU universe. And I think that would be a good role. So John David Washington, also, if not, I think Aldous Hodge, who played Hawkman in the Black Adam movie, and he's also the lead character in the Amazon TV series. What's it called? Alex Cross, and then also David Boyega. I think those three actors would be very good T'Challas. I would say, what's his name? What's the guy that played? He was in it too. Daniel Kaluuya, but Daniel Kaluuya played I forgot his name in the movie that I forgot the character he played, but he played Okoye's husband. So I mean, he can't play that character. But I think those three actors would be very good. Now, Hollywood, don't do this. I know that Hollywood recently, in a few months, Hollywood has been obsessed with Aaron Pierre. If you don't know who Aaron Pierre is, he is that movie that came out on Netflix where he's trying to save his cousin from being imprisoned and pay his bill. That's Aaron Pierre. He also played um, Mufasa in the live action Mufasa the Lion King movie. Now, I like Aaron Pierre, but Aaron Pierre is not T'Challa. Aaron Pierre looks nothing like T'Challa. So don't try to put him in that role of T'Challa. Okay? I know, Hollywood loves putting people like I remember when they made the movie about what's his name? Nelson Mandela. I think it was called Long Walk to Freedom. I love Idris Elba, but Idris Elba is not Nelson Mandela. Idris Elba is dark skinned, and Madiba, Nelson Mandela, is light skinned. Now, when they made Concussion, that doctor, Bennett, I think his name is Bennett Omalu. Bennett Omalu is dark skinned. Will Smith is, some can argue, brown skin, but light skin, brown skin, whatever you want to call it. No, they should have, and I said this at the time when those movies came out in the same year. I said they should have switched it. Will Smith should have played Madiba, Nelson Mandela. Idris Elba should have played Dr. Bennett Omalu. I'm tired of Hollywood putting, um, you know, dark skinned people to play light skinned people and light skinned people to play dark skinned people who are of historical reference. Like, stop doing that. And even though um, the MCU is made up, comics are made up, but T'Challa is a established comic book character. He is not, Aaron Pierre's complexion, so don't put him in there. But like I was saying, those are some allegations that MCU has found T'Challa, or they're now starting to recast. We'll see how it goes. If I found any news about it, I'll let you guys know. Um, Thank you for listening to another episode of I Speak African. I'll be uploading new episodes probably every Thursday or Friday. Haven't decided on the date yet. Please subscribe and like to my channel for more content. You guys can also email me at ispeakafrican12@gmail.com, and you guys can download these same episodes on Spotify. Thank you and stay blessed.